Hey guys, welcome to Manhwa Mantra. I'm really excited to have you here. I know some of you have mentioned that the images in my videos sometimes don't exactly match the audio, and I totally get it. Here's the deal, my explanations are based on the novel, and the images don't always line up perfectly. It's a challenge to find the right ones, and it can be pretty time-consuming and frustrating. Unlike manhwa explanations where images are already given, explaining based on the novel is a bit more complex. But I'm doing my best to bring you the most accurate and engaging explanation I can. I'm always looking to improve, and your support really helps me get there. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback means a lot to me. Now, let's get started and dive into the world of manhwa. Fan's mind raced. Before, could he be an exiled disciple? But how did he even get here? No sect would leave such a loophole, especially not Double Dragon Manor. Fan's thoughts were interrupted as the drunkard chuckled. Ha ha ha, let them try to keep me out. It'll never work. There's no place I can't reach. Cocky, but impressive. Respect mingled with caution in Fan's heart. If this man wanted to, nothing could stop him, yet. Something about him felt oddly familiar. Wait, why does he remind me of myself? Relax, kid. I like you. You gave me wine, so I won't trouble you. The drunkard's attention shifted to the two girls, Shuanger and Yongning. His mere gaze made them shudder. Ha 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 ha, don't worry, I don't pick on girls. So Tanyu's princess, huh? Tell me, do you think your father was right in what he did? He may be my father, but he sold out his nation. He let evil in. He's no different. Ha ha ha, what a righteous princess. But what if he only ceded the land without inviting soldiers in? Isn't that the same thing? Not even close. His tone grew colder. An invasion means pillaging, slaughter. Ceding land spares the people from such cruelty. But remember this, the land belongs to the royals, not the common people. Whether it's one master or another, the people still suffer under their rulers. They're just pawns. It doesn't matter if it's Double Dragon Manor, a sect, or an empire. They're all just raising cattle to exploit them. The trio exchanged uneasy glances as the drunkard's words sank in. But doesn't Double Dragon Manor's system ensure stability and growth for the Western lands? Isn't that a stroke of genius? If the Western lands weakened, wouldn't it invite invasions, and the people would suffer even more? Bullshit. That's just a pretty excuse. All they care about is guarding their sacred mines and resources for cultivators. They don't give a damn about the common people. If the central region invaded, they wouldn't touch the people. They'd want the resources. The ants are just tools to mine their treasures. Fan discreetly gestured for the girls to avoid provoking the man further. Sorry, kid. I get carried away talking about this. I used to think like you, believing the Western lands were a haven of peace. But one meeting changed everything. A woman? How did you know? Only a woman can change a man. Ha ha ha. You girls are sharp. How many men have you changed yourselves? I'm innocent. I haven't changed anyone. She sneaked a glance at Fan. Ignore her, senior. She's delusional from reading too many romance stories. Sometimes those stories aren't far from reality. I used to be a dignified, elegant young man. Then I met her, a foolishly naive princess, who always fell for scams but never regretted it. She trapped me in the secular world. The girls turned their dewy eyes toward Fan. Why does this sound oddly familiar? Her naivety used to drive me mad, always getting into trouble. Yet none of it mattered. I wanted to bear her burdens. I only realized later, even my power had limits. His tone shifted, carrying a bone-deep hatred. When her kingdom was invaded, the sect protecting it ignored the border attacks, saying the lands were safe. She, worried for the people, moved the defenses further back. She trusted the enemy's lies and signed away their land. That was their plan all along. The sects were outraged. The royal family was dethroned and the princess executed for treason. What happened to her? Fan rolled his eyes. Girl, this isn't some bedtime story. I reached her too late. All I could do was watch her corpse as the mob mocked her. Senior, if it were me, I'd have killed those bastards from the start. Let them know she was under my protection. Rules or no rules, you can't hesitate. Obeying the sect's orders let them act freely, knowing you'd be bound. Recklessness might have saved her. You're right. I regret not being a demonic cultivator then. If I'd had your boldness, she might still be alive. But it's too late now. His bloodthirsty eyes burned as he relived the past, his grief and anger filling the room. Senior, calm down, Fan intervened, watching the drunkard's growing foul mood. He hoped to avoid a drunken rampage, at least for now. Meanwhile, Yongning, ever dreamy and lost in the story, ignored the tension and asked eagerly, "What then?" Fan rolled his eyes, exasperated. He wanted to kick her out. He's bearing his soul's greatest pain here, and you're just fishing for juicy details? Are you out of your mind? The drunkard's expression darkened, his voice heavy. Then I rushed to the enemy nation. I slaughtered the royal family and tore through their guardian sect, throwing their nameplate into a bonfire. Nice one. Fan clapped in genuine admiration, hoping the praise might calm the storm. But all he got in response was a sigh and a grim look. Boy, the drunkard muttered darkly, you'd be better off erased from this world. You'll drag it into hell sooner or later. Fan froze, then curled his mouth in disdain. Seriously? You're the one purging clans and tearing apart sects, and you're calling me a menace? For the record, I don't purge clans, at least not in this life. The drunkard smirked, pointing at Fan's chest. You're tough, shrewd, and brave, but your heart, it's unsteady. Then again, which demonic cultivator has ever had a firm heart? I've hardly seen one among the so-called righteous either. Even I don't have one, he added with a self-deprecating laugh. He continued, his voice laden with regret. My madness back then forced Double Dragon Manor to come after me. The first time, I accepted my sect's punishment willingly. But this time, I didn't care about anything. I saw the whole world as my enemy. When I returned, I killed anyone in sight. Wherever I set foot, among the 10 sects of the Western lands, it was left in chaos and flames. A warning, never try to control me. Leave me the hell alone. But what was the point? Just a tantrum. Because she didn't come back. His shout was laced with anguish, his bloodshot eyes betraying his torment. He shook his head. At first, I only wanted one sect to pay. But rage consumed me. I became a true madman. Fan's mind raced. Why does this sound familiar? Where have I heard this before? The drunkard gulped his wine and let out a hollow laugh. I came so close to losing my mind completely, letting the demon inside take over. How did you crawl back? Yongning asked, wide-eyed like a child enthralled by a bedtime story. The drunkard smirked at her curiosity. I have to thank her for that. Even in my madness, I stumbled upon her lady-in-waiting. She brought me her will. She wasn't fooled. She knew all along it was a trap. He sighed, his voice softening. She saw the enemy's scheme for what it was. She knew it would destroy her clan, but also believed surrendering might spare them greater suffering. Whether right or wrong, it was her ruler's judgment to make. His gaze turned distant. Her message brought me back to a time when we spoke of our dreams. Dreams of peace. But how many ever achieve it? Righteous cultivators claim justice while harboring demons in their hearts. And demonic cultivators? Ha! Need I say more? Even Double Dragon Manor, which boasts of protecting the Western land's peace, is just another cesspool of greed and power plays. The people? They're nothing more than pawns, destroying themselves under the guise of a false peace. His piercing eyes locked onto Yongning. Tell me, lass, was she wrong to cede her land? Yongning hesitated before answering. If it meant the people lived better lives, then no. Isn't that what empires are supposed to do, protect their people? The drunkard let out a hearty laugh. How clever you are. Only caring for the common good, just as foolish as her, yet smarter than most. The real fool here is me. I wanted to build a perfect world and lost everything. Her life, my sanity, my purpose. Fan patted his shoulder sympathetically. Ha! Senior, every man says impressive things to win over a woman. The drunkard glared. Oh, shut it. I'm not as shameless as you. I was always truthful to her. His gaze softened, almost wistful. A word of advice, boy. With your skewed heart, find someone whose heart is steady. Someone like her. You called her foolish, but she was kind. That kind of person. They're the ones who keep us grounded. Fan jerked in surprise. He felt an unsettling familiarity. The drunkard's feelings for the princess mirrored his for Ninger. Maybe masterminds like them needed someone pure and kind to balance their chaos. The drunkard sighed, tilting his flask to his lips. Not a drop came out. Out of wine again. Well, it was nice meeting you youngsters. If fate allows, I'll lend a hand next time. Just make sure it's something minor. Messing with a sect or two? That's my specialty. But you'll owe me something in return. What? Fan asked eagerly, thinking with his strength, having him on my side would be like having a god at my beck and call. The drunkard hesitated, then said, "A painting I made for her. My greatest work. A shame it was lost when her clan fell. I even spread the word. Anyone who brought it to me could ask for anything in return. But so many years have passed. Not a single word about it. I may never see it again?" And with that, he turned and left. "Senior, what does the painting look like?" Fan called out. The drunkard's voice echoed back. "Lads of our nation." My most famous work. Realization hit Fan like a bolt of lightning. Lads of our nation? That means he's Western land's strongest man, Danking Shen. The girls gasped. He's still alive after 1,000 years? Fan's mind raced. Where's the painting? Doesn't Tianyu have it somewhere? He turned to Yongning, hoping for answers. Yongning's face fell. When you went to the imperial capital after the coronation, it was gone. Third brother wanted to use it as a betrothal gift for Long Kui, but it hasn't been seen in the treasury since. Damn that fool! Fan groaned. The painting was there, but not the man. Now I find the man, but the painting is gone. What timing! In the heaven-reaching pavilion, 2 elders sat in solemn silence. One with white hair and sharp eyes, the other with raven hair and a heavy beard. Below them, experts from every sect gathered. The Double Dragon gathering begins in 3 days. The white-haired elder announced. The usual rules apply. You may withdraw. As they left, a panicked voice broke the silence. Something is wrong with the barrier. What? The white elder asked sharply. The barrier has opened 10 times, once for each sect, but there was a 10th opening. The white-haired elder's eyes narrowed. You may go. Stay on guard. When the room quieted again, the elders exchanged wary glances. Only someone with unparalleled skill could breach the barrier without being noticed. Do you think it's him? The black-haired elder sighed. He's the only one brazen enough to do so. But why now? Let's hope he's not here to cause trouble. The white-haired elder nodded, his voice heavy. Our most prized pupil has returned. Why?